And Larry, going back almost 3 years to the build-up to Kennedy McKinney against Marco Antonio Barrera, the tremendous war that launched the whole boxing after dark thing, we wondered then, we asked the question, is McKinney too old to be a serious contender for world supremacy? Is that a question we still ask?
And we'll keep asking it until he gives us a yes. But that could be 3 years from now, or it could be tonight. But first, let's pause for a moment to recognize the big little giants from America who have entertained us and often thrilled us over the last decade. And here they are, Michael Carbajal, as well as McKinney, who came out of the '88 Olympics, Orlando Canizales, the longtime bantamweight champion, Johnny Tapia is still going strong, Kevin Kelly and Junior Jones. It's really been a golden age for these young, little men in America. Right now, what Kennedy McKinney is looking for is an annuity. But 3 times this year, he was getting ready to fight, scheduled to fight Prince Ahmed. Each time the fight was postponed and finally canceled. What he's looking for, Jim, is a victory tonight, Kennedy McKinney, hoping that he can get that Brit Twit cornered at last.
And as we've mentioned many times, of course, every fighter who has world status at 122, 126, or 130 pounds is looking for a fight with Prince Naseem Hamed. Both of these guys fall into that category. But the net result of what Larry told you, Roy Jones, is that Kennedy hasn't had a fight since December 19 of last year. Now, there's a feeling on the part of experts who watch both fighters that Espinoza, through his career, is basically a counterpuncher. Kennedy is a natural counterpuncher, though one, of course, with a big right hand. Kennedy told us that he thinks he has to attack Espinoza, has to make the fight in order to give himself a chance to win. You agree?
Somewhat, I agree in a way, because by him attacking, he opens Espinoza up so that he can land his big right hand. But on the other hand, Espinoza is the bigger of the 2 fighters. Both of them moved up from the bantamweight division, but Espinoza has been a featherweight for some period of time now. So Espinoza probably is the bigger fighter, and I wouldn't really want to see Kennedy run into a big shot from Espinoza.
All right. I don't think Kennedy wants to run into a big shot from Espinoza either. He said, the guy is a left hooker. My first job is to block his left hook. So tail of the tape, you can see they're both beyond the age of 30. Espinoza maybe even beyond the age of 31. We're not entirely certain. Half-inch height advantage for McKinney. Very similar in reach. Weighed in at or within a pound of the 126-pound limit. Tonight, Espinoza weighs 138, and Kennedy McKinney weighs 139 as we put the scales in their dressing rooms. Rules of the bout with Harold Letterman.
Once again, the Luisito Espinoza-Kennedy McKinney fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using those unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The referee or the doctor can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, thank you, Harold. Kennedy McKinney's career as a musician ended with a little snare drum playing in senior high school, but he has gone on by his own claim to become the greatest boxer in the history of Memphis, Tennessee. He loves Memphis, his hometown, and after a stint of living in Las Vegas, lives back in Memphis now, where he's starting a trucking business.
Calls this the most important fight of his life. I'm sure he has said that on more than one occasion in the past, but it's a way of pumping himself up like a true professional, because at the end of this rainbow could be Prince Ahmed.
1988 American Olympic team should have had at least 4 gold medal winners, but Roy Jones, as you know, was robbed. Still, 3 Americans, 1 gold in Seoul: Kennedy McKinney, Ray Mercer, and Andrew Maynard. A closer look at King Kennedy.
There you see the former junior featherweight champion. That's 122 pounds. Been idle for almost a year while waiting for Hamed. And gold medal in Seoul.
Luisito Espinoza first carved out prominence in the sport as a bantamweight. Ruled as a bantamweight in the Far East for several years, left the Philippines, fought out of Japan for a while, then went back and fought in the Philippines. Now he has moved here to the United States because he says there is no longer any money for boxers in his native land of the Philippines.
For him, it's negative money. He still hasn't collected a $130,000 purse for his next to last fight. The government was supposed to put up the money, but we've all heard of the Asian economic crisis. They didn't have $130,000.
Closer look at Luisito Espinoza.
There you see the former bantamweight champion. 7 defenses of his belt, and he once defended it in front of 300,000 fans in Manila.
And now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions on this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Fantasy Springs Casino here in Indio, California, this is the main event of the evening, brought to you by America Presents in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Along with Murad Muhammad, M&M Sports, and Main Events. This is 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Chairman Ernest H. Wiener, Vice Chairman Dr. Tirso Del Junco Jr., Executive Officer Rob Lynch, physicians at ringside Dr. Paul Wallace and Dr. Howard Baer. The timekeeper at the bell is Mike Millsap. This bout is also sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, President Jose Suleiman, supervisor at ringside for the WBC, Frank Quill. The 3 judges assigned scoring this bout on a 10-point must system will be Lou Filippo, Bob Logiste, and Terry O'Connor. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, working for the 113th time in a world title bout, Hall of Famer Marty Dankin. And now, from Fantasy Springs Casino here in Indio, California, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red, trimmed with gold. He weighs 126 pounds. In 1988, he captured Olympic gold, and now, as a professional, his record stands at 33 victories, 19 by knockout, with 3 losses and 1 draw. He comes to us from Memphis, Tennessee. Here is the challenger, former 3-time world champion, Kennedy, the King McKinney. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white, trimmed with blue and gold. He weighs 125 pounds and brings a professional record of 43 victories, 22 of those by knockout with 7 defeats. Tonight, he makes the 7th defense of his title. Ladies and gentlemen, from Manila in the Philippines, presenting the reigning and defending WBC Featherweight Champion of the World, Luisito Espinoza.
Everybody out but one person. Everybody out but one person. Everyone out but one person. Okay. Turn around, Kenny. You know your responsibilities. I've told you what mine are. Let's both do our jobs.
Luis Espinoza has been stopped 3 times in his career. Kennedy McKinney knows it. Can he do anything about it?
That's why he wants to go forward and land that big right hand.
Watch out for headbutts. Espinoza has won 2 of his last 3 by technical win. Headbutts have marred at least a half dozen Luisito Espinoza fights. Kennedy McKinney, for his part, would like to keep Espinoza at range where he can work behind his jab and try to set up his big right hand. Espinoza, a relatively slow starter. Although there's a left hook that lands right away. Excuse me, Luisito, I didn't mean to offend you.
Very smart boxer. Likes to take a look at his opponent first, see what his opponent has to offer, then he throws his shots.
I think McKinney may be trying to set him up, trap him some way into throwing that left hook more often. He took that in a very calm way. It's his best punch, Espinosa. Blocked by McKinney.
That time, first one landed. This time McKinney had the right hand up to block it. Espinosa trying to get low and fire wide shots at the body.
They trying to throw the shots at the body to set up the head shots, like he just did with that left hook.
Interesting matchup between a guy who wants to set up his right hand, McKinney, and a guy who wants to set up his left hook, Espinosa.
Espinosa's landing the right hand too, though.
McKinney with a right hand to the body and a left to the body, and he lands an uppercut, but Espinosa counters and drives Kennedy back, then turns around and pounds him against the ropes as Espinosa has stunned McKinney in the first round.
And left hook hurt McKinney bad.
Yep.
But he's weathering the storm pretty good.
And now Kennedy has tasted Espinosa's power, as we say.
Yeah, but this is very smart by Espinosa. He saw him throw a barrage of punches at McKinney, and he backed back and gathered himself once he saw that McKinney was back together.
So Espinosa showing you his vast experience. He's been a pro for 14 years. First professional fight on his 17th birthday. Down goes McKinney as a right hand followed by a left hook. Landed on the chin.
This has been more than a taste, Jim.
This has been a buffet.
McKinney bleeding from the mouth.
Espinosa left hook, trying to finish McKinney in the final seconds of round one. Now the right hand lands. And a slow starting Kennedy McKinney trying to fight back as round one comes to a close.
All of those big punches are results of those big body shots earlier.
You know what I'm saying? Give me a time. One time. Give me one. One time. You all right? Bro, man, you got to move to your right, okay? Okay. How you feel? Give me some water. Give me some water. Give me water. One time on my back. Give me water. Mac, you got to stay to the right side. Look.
Mac, you can't let him come up on you and just punch like that. All right? Like you got to move.
Okay.
Here we can take a look at the knockdown. That big right hand is what sent McKinney off balance. A soft tap of the left finished the job that the right had started. Looking for the left, caught the right.
We talked about the 343 days off. McKinney looked rusty to you in that first round, Roy?
Not necessarily rusty, but the big body shots that Luisito Espinosa was throwing made Kennedy forget about his head. And he set him up for the body shot and threw a head shot.
So big round for Espinosa to start, landing 36 of 80 punches. 35 of those 36 power shots. Those numbers come from CompuBox. Another left hook. And McKinney's going to have to get something going here or risk being flooded early by the power shots of Espinosa.
And right there, you saw how well Espinosa took Kennedy's right hand. It's because Espinosa's been a featherweight for a long time now.
And Kennedy moving up in weight. Oh, and that right hand has frozen McKinney, and this is over. Over. A blistering right cross by Luisito Espinosa, and Kennedy McKinney was a sitting duck along the ropes. He took 2 or 3 more shots before Dinkin got there to stop it.
You remember about 6 or 7 minutes ago, Jim, I said, you may be asking if he's too old 3 years from now or tonight.
And your answer?
It was tonight.
A sudden, stunning, second-round knockout of Kennedy McKinney by Luisito Espinosa. And Roy, what a textbook job of setting up power shots to the head with hard punches to the body.
Yeah, that's what he started out doing. He started out throwing the wing and body shots first to make Kennedy let him get close enough to land those big head shots.
You know, McKinney has always visualized fights and been very good at thinking about what might happen in a fight with an opponent. And he kept visualizing the left hand of Espinosa, and he was just wide open for the right.
It was the right hand that got him, no question.
Which is why you never go into a fight looking for one punch to beat you. Always go ready for anything.
And McKinney was so cut and dried in his fighter meeting with us yesterday. He had a very clear and categorical picture of what he thought was going to happen in the fight. It was very convincing the way he described it to us. But Larry makes exactly the right point, because as McKinney tried to protect against the left hook, Espinosa blasted him out of there with right hands. So now the speculation turns to Luisito Espinosa versus Prince Naseem Hamed.
Big fight, good fight.
Can't imagine that the Prince's people are going to be desperately anxious to go ahead and make the fight off what they saw here, but if they do, give them credit for bravery and mark the date on your calendar. And now let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Marty Denkin waves off the count of 10 following the knockdown and calls a halt to this bout at 47 seconds of round number 2. The winner and still WBC featherweight champion of the world, Luisito Espinosa.
So Espinosa, having moved here to the United States, now living in San Francisco, in search of bigger and better economic opportunity toward what would appear to be the end of his boxing career coming up in the near future. But a big performance tonight sets up some possible major paydays in the future for the 126-pounder. Final punch stat numbers from CompuBox. And you can see that Kennedy McKinney never really got started in the fight, landing only 9 of 61. Luisito Espinosa blowing him away. 50 of 105 punches landed. The overwhelming majority of them, in fact, almost all of them, power shots. He connected at a 48% rate, and when you do that with right crosses and left hooks, you're going to knock your man out. That's what happened. Now let's go with Larry Merchant and our interpreter Ramon De Los Santos as they talk to Espinosa.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Luis, who is now kissing his bride, who is also his business manager and negotiates all of his contracts, and did a very good job outside of the ring as you did inside of the ring tonight.
Yung daw asawa mo, marami daw siya daw ang manager mo, and she did a good job. You're coming.
Oh, thank you very much for Lalo, and also to America President Hussein. Thank you very much for promoting here.
You've thanked your promoter, you've done your job, but you did a better job for that 4 minutes during the fight. Did you feel that you were just stronger than him, and is that the reason you came out so aggressively?
Doon sa 4 na minutong pinaglaban nyo, naramdaman bang mas malakas ka kaysa sa kanya?
Naramdaman ko dahil first round pa lang kasi sabi ko mas malakas ako dito, sabi ko.
I felt it, and it's right on the first punch. I knew right away I'm going to get this guy.
He was looking for your left hook, which has always seemed to have been your best punch. Was he just wide open for those right hands?
Hinahanap niya, inaabangan niya yung left hook mo. Hindi dumating yung left hook mo, puro right ang umabot.
Kasi pag ang target ko talaga, right hook talaga. Pero lepo ko pinaabangan ko.
I see. Okay. He fakes with his left hook, but he is actually power punches the right hand.
What does he see in the future for himself?
Anong nakikita mo sa susunod na mga laban mo?
Sa tingin ko, magiging approve ako. Na-approve pa yun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's going to improve some more in the next fight.
Does he think that he will get a fight with Prince Hamed?
Palagay ba makakalaban mo si Prince Hamed?
Sa tingin ko, kailangan pag-aralan.
I think I have to study about that. I have to study him pretty good.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again, Luis.
Thank you very much to America President Hussein and to all the fans here in the States. Thank you to all the Americans.
We'll see you again. Jim?
All right, thanks, Larry. Got to teach Luisito to thank HBO when he does that. So suppose we can make it. Prince Naseem Hamed against this guy, Luisito Espinosa. What do you think, Roy?
Woo, what a fight that would be.
You don't have to pay to get in.
No, I don't. I'm very grateful for that. I think the problem would be, can the Prince deal with somebody who's patient enough to not go for all his antics, for all the things that he do to throw people off? This guy has been around for a little while. This guy is not going to go for that stuff. He's going to be right there waiting to counter when he does catch the Prince off guard. So that would be a very interesting fight if the Prince is willing to take that chance.
Let's hope. It would be quite a war to see. All right, well, we'll have a final word on what... Oh, wait a minute. Larry's standing by with Kennedy McKinney. My fault. Larry?
Jim, thank you. Kennedy?
Yes.
Was he just too big and strong for you?
I think so. I think that was the key. He was a lot stronger than I anticipated. He's a lot stronger than I anticipated.
You generally visualize fights, and in visualizing this fight, you kept thinking of the left hook and how you were going to bait him into something so that you could land the right hand, but it was his right hand that did the damage.
No, not to be honest with you, it was the left hook that did the damage. He had an exceptionally good left hook. I thought I had worked on trying to get away from that left hook, but I was wrong. I don't take anything away from the kid. He's just a tad bit bigger. I mean, this is my first fight at featherweight, and I lost. But, you know, I'll be back at 22. I'm just not a featherweight. I'm not a full-blown featherweight. And I can't take anything away from Luisito. He fought a good fight. He did what he had to do to win.
All right, let's take a look at the knockdowns and see what happened here in round one. Describe what you see. That was just a big looping right hand, it seemed, Kennedy.
Well, in my training on the tapes I watched him, he didn't throw a right hand at all. He threw a pretty decent left hook, and that was my thing, was to try to make sure don't hit him with the hook, don't hit me with the hook. But hey, I just got kind of careless, and I underestimated his power in the previous fight. And I'm a junior featherweight. I'm not a fully blown featherweight. I take nothing away from Luisito. It was a good fight, but he's a featherweight, and I'm a junior featherweight.
Thank you very much. You're a senior with us.